Hey guys! Welcome back to our channel,
Plots with a Twist,
where we discuss books,
amongst other things.
And I think we've had a couple of videos where we keep alluding to, oh, we're gonna do a book review. We're gonna do a book review. Here it is!
Yes.
A book review. Girl, I was gonna say, timing, 1, 2, 3.
7 days in June.
Yeah, so we are going to discuss our thoughts further today. So let's get into it.
Okay, so go ahead and do a synopsis.
Okay, hold on, y'all. Okay. So, boom. 7 days in June. We have Eva Mercy. She's an acclaimed fantasy author. She has this 14-book series called Cursed. And it centers around, vampires, witches, and whatnot. So she's really trying to sustain her career in regards to what she's currently writing. Boom. We have Shane Hall. He's an acclaimed writer about just really tough black woman going through really tough situations, kind of one of those hardy writers. I think, Ta-Nehisi Coates. What's the other guy I'm blanking on? I think Colson Whitehead. Really hardy books, but not a whole bunch of books. So we have these two main characters. So pretty much it focuses in on these 7 days in June. So Eva, trying to revamp her career, take it to a different direction, really wants to write a different type of book. She's invited to this event to step in and really utilize that opportunity. But in enter Shane Hall, and you discover that they have a past. So the story kind of goes back into Eva's past, the type of life she had, really the situation she had to deal with, and a new school she went to where she, at 17, met a 17-year-old Shane Hall. And coincidentally, they had a 7-day relationship that impacted their lives and their writings so greatly. And fast forward to current, 7 days, again, is redefining their lives and ultimately their writing and success greatly. So that's really what it boils down to. Did I do it?
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
So I think you did a good job.
Okay, so maybe I made it more complicated than it was.
No. You gave all the details.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's get into our thoughts. So what did you like about the book?
Okay, so I just loved everything about it. No. Okay, so I love that. First of all, the way the characters were written, that we got to see both of their perspectives. Of course, going more into Eva and her life, starting with her and her daughter. I loved her daughter. Her daughter was a character.
She has a daughter.
Yeah, her daughter. She's a single mom. And she's also dealing with a debilitating disease.
See, you told me I did. I
forgot about that part. But yeah, so I don't know. It's just like Eva had a lot of layers to her as a character, and I feel like so did Shane, and the author explored those where you didn't feel like you missed anything.
Right.
Like, sometimes you read a book and characters are doing things acting a certain way. You're like, oh, well, why though? Like, or you just want more background from them. I feel like I didn't need anything else about like their background, so I really like that about the characters. I liked all the little, like, the references, like the, I guess, pop culture references, but black pop culture references. Like, it was all very valid and wasn't corny, or I don't know, it was just very spot on. I feel like to like nowadays. That was cool. What else? I like the romance. It's very juicy. The romance is very juicy, but not like, it was steamy and juicy and good, but it wasn't like overwhelming. Yeah, like where you felt like, I know this is classified as a romance book, but it wasn't like, it was romance because of the whole story, but not just because of like the steamy parts, and I feel like sometimes that's why romance novels get like a bad rap, because it's like, oh, they're just about little whatever, but no, this had like a good amount of that. What else? I don't know, I just loved it. So yeah,
okay.
That's like, once you start saying stuff, I'm be like, oh yeah.
So, okay. So, no, those are valid points. Those are very much the same things I enjoyed. So what I enjoyed too is, I guess this is going to be a very real confession, but as a Black woman reading Black literature, sometimes it's easy to get, in my opinion, to get that diversity and that different type of story you need from Black authors. And maybe that's just a personal hurdle or mental hurdle I have to overcome. But it's very much, when sometimes you read Black literature or even Black shows, whatever, and it seems like it's something that nods to some type of struggle. That it's like, why did we have to do that? Or why do we have to make this type of situation? Or why do we have to do this to this person? So I like that. I say that to say that I like that the main characters weren't struggling.
They were struggling, but not in
in layman's terms of they're financially not capable. They're, they have, really kind of quintessential, I'm saying, African American problems. It wasn't that. It was very much, okay, she's struggling, but in a way where she has to figure out her life. She has to figure out navigating her illness. Yeah, she has some challenges, but that's not her journey. That's not her definition. And same with him. Yeah, he grew up, had a rough upbringing, was kind of like, could have gone down a different path, but that wasn't defining him. So I like to see that the characters are strong, decisive, and successful, not just Black people, but individuals. So that really stuck out to me because I like to see that. So that's one thing I enjoyed. 2, I also just enjoyed the unfolding of events, the unfolding of the story. I like how she gave glimpse into Eva's past, really gave you an understanding of what she had been through, what she goes through, what really shaped her as an individual. And really the same for Shane. And you kind of can see their motivation, their motivators. I also like that their inner voice match their decisions. That's one thing I don't want to say hate, but what puts you off from certain characters, a lot of times they have this strong inner voice and then they take a completely different action. I like that you understood their thought processes and it translated to their decisions. So that made the story really realistic, because ultimately, yes, sometimes you don't always act on your inner thoughts, but in a lot of stories, that's more consistent than them doing the right, logical things they would do as they think through them. So I really, above all else, that is the main thing I enjoyed, because I feel like last year I did read a lot of stories where it was like, oh, I like the way she's thinking, but I don't like the way she's acting. And I think for both of them, I enjoyed how they thought, how they thought through their decisions, and then they acted on them. That's so simple, but it's missed so much. So yeah, that's what I like. So what did you not like? I know what I didn't like.
I'm trying to think.
That's hard.
Yeah, I feel like in terms of like just the story or like certain things that happen. Oh, I ain't like her mom. No, I
did not either though.
I didn't like her mom, but I think her mom was written to be like not likable and like just to show like how selfish she was. And
it's like everybody served their purpose.
Yeah, in the story. Exactly. So it's like I didn't like her, but she was very much necessary to the story. What didn't you like? Let's have a discussion, because I feel like I don't remember a lot of stuff. No, I don't remember a lot of stuff I really
don't, but I do. Because that is the positive. That's one of those books that, you know how they say, like, oh, people may not remember who you are, but they remember how you made them feel. I feel like that's one of those books. Yeah. You may not remember details, but you'll remember being moved by this book. So I'll say what I did not like though. And this puts me off from any, I've read similar books as far as timeline that really I struggled with as far as believing or having conviction. So the central relationship began in high school over the course of 7 days. And then the current events, they are in their 30s and it's over the course of 7 days. So for me, as just a reader, I question how significant that time is to really, because really they go
like he would have, if it was you, would have forgot about it in 7 days.
Yeah, or 7 days. I'm 17. By the time I'm 30 something, I'm not.
So, it was that much
I get it, but like, yeah, over the course of that time, because
but I feel like that's a nod to like romance novels. It's not supposed to make sense. It's love, and it's just so held over. And
I think it would have been different if they reconvened at some point earlier, but they never, hadn't seen each other in like, what was it, like 15 years, something like that. And
they so fighting to each other. Look, spoiler alert.
But they did. So that was another detail. There, maybe that is that a spoiler? There, you find out that they're writing. Okay, this might be a spoiler, but you find out that it's pretty early in the book that their writing was motivated by each other. So it's kind of like, okay, I can see how you're stuck in that situation at 17, because really all your work has been paying nods to that situation. But I just struggle with believing like how firm or that type of situation can form and be rekindled so quickly 15 years later.
I didn't mind that. I like that. I'm obsessive like that, so I feel like, oh, I would love to be, but in real life it's like, no.
But there are people who are like that, so I acknowledge that, but I feel like more often than not, you're not that torn and that attached to relationships you may have had in high school. But I get it, because they did go through a deep, intense time, 7 days. It was intense.
Very intense.
But I don't know. So I didn't really like that.
Okay.
Other than that, let's see. Oh my God, this is what I loved about it though, at the same time. I almost did not like how it ended. So, it ends, but there's an epilogue.
And the epilogue is long.
And the epilogue
was another chapter as far as I was concerned.
But it ends, there's an epilogue. Yeah. So where it ended, I did not like. But the epilogue more than made up for that. So, exactly. So it's kind of like a like-dislike, but it also makes the story that more alluring, because you're like,
that's it. Yeah,
you get this letdown moment, and it's like, wait, okay,
for sure.
So, I don't know. It's just a lot to praise this book on. So it is difficult to think through what you don't like, but I get the praise, I get the hype, I get everything from this book. It's just, it was a good story. But
and I think some of the reviews said the same thing, like how it was just kind of like, if you don't like something, it's nitpicky. But I feel like I don't read a lot of like romance novels per se. Like I like to have like some romance like involved if the story can incorporate it, but
that's not the core.
Yeah, and I feel like with this, like I expected that, like it to be kind of like flighty, but it wasn't flight. It was still like a smart and
it was approached from a smart way, especially attaching their works. Their whole lives were shaped from these 7 days.
Yeah.
So it's some connection. I can get it, but
so.
Okay, so
there's nothing else I didn't really like besides like little things in the story without giving too much away. Like there was like certain events or stuff that happened, but
but those weren't even major. They were necessary. Everything in this book was positioned perfectly in a way.
Like the black author on the panel, he kept interrupting them.
But then later you understand why that even was happening. So it's just like little things come together. It's the little nuances this book includes. So I think that's what makes it that much more special. So okay, so what did you rate it? I couldn't remember if it
5 stars. You know that.
Yeah, I actually did too. Yeah. Okay. So it was a 5-star read.
I think so.
I don't know the average. I think the average is 4 point something. And again, that might be the people kind of harping in on those little things you don't like. But other than that, even those little things are compensated and more than made up for by the positive. So it's difficult to give this. I mean, in my opinion, maybe in your opinion, it's difficult to give this book anything less than 5 stars. Why would you? What?
I think so,
too. What could you give it? What could you give it?
Everything was good. Everything was good. The pacing of the story was good. Like, You didn't feel like things were happening too fast. They went back and explained it. It didn't drag at all. I feel like that's what happens for me a lot of times when I'm reading. Stories will like drag, and I don't know if it's because I'm like, okay, I got other books to read, get to it. I'm trying to get to whatever. But when stuff tends to drag, especially if I'm listening to it, even when I'm reading, like it makes it hard for me to kind of go. And I feel like if I had even more time, I would have finished this book in like 2 days. Like if I back in my old reading days when I ain't had nothing to do, and I was just that's like you could literally like just go ahead and read through that book. But it didn't drag or anything.
Yeah, I think yeah, it was even moments, and this might sound like, oh, they really hyping this book up, but it was good.
It was a good book.
But I was listening to it on audiobook, and it was even moments I'm like, hold on, let me run this back. Like what happened? Maybe it was the saucy scenes. I don't know, but I can't remember specifically when I rewinded a couple of minutes.
Their story is so cute.
Yeah, it was some moments I was just like, hold up. Let me rewind. I don't know if it was the phrasing of words, just the way things came together that might have drawn me in. I don't know if it was the particular scene. I can't specifically remember. But when a book does that, it's kind of like, wow. You just audibly have those wow. And, oh my God, I meant to mention this. I feel like I started to text you, but I forgot to. As soon as I hit stop and the book ended, I audibly said out loud, dang, that was a good book. Like I was walking down the stairs, I was like, dang, that was a good book. So
great. That was a good book then.
5 stars. 5 stars. Okay, obviously, would you recommend it?
Yes, I'm recommending it to everybody. Just read it. Just because, just to see. If nothing else, you will have read a quick book that was entertaining, gave you a few laughs, and maybe nothing more than that. Right. But it's still a good book. I feel like.
And if you don't like it,
if you just like hate it, I feel like
I don't know if that's possible. If you don't like it, just come tell us. But I
would love to know why. Look,
right? I want to know.
Yeah, because then
what was the reason?
Point out something. I'm like, oh yeah, but no, it was a great book. So yes, you guys should definitely pick it up if you haven't by now.
Highly recommend.
Like,
I'm mad I didn't read it sooner. Like,
right? I feel like I wanted to read it for a long time. I kept seeing it.
I had it. I actually owned it for like months.
Get on my nerves. I went and bought it because I was like in a bookstore in another place, and I was like, let me buy a book. I never buy like books from like retail. I usually either do Amazon or the book sale.
Wow.
Or I get on Libby because Amazon will have it for I feel like the cheapest price for the most part, but I bought it in a bookstore
for a full price. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it was I forgot how much it was, but it was worth it. Worth every dime.
All right. Well, let us know some of your thoughts. Did you enjoy it? Did we make you want to read it? I think so.
Yeah.
I feel like
I hope so.
You should. Let us know. Like this video, subscribe, ring the bell, and we will be back next time. Bye.
Bye.